This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be talking about the Matador Speed Stash, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content that helps you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So the exterior of this Speed Stash is nylon, and I think it looks pretty nice. It's obviously all black here, very minimalistic looking, and we're kind of used to that from Matador. They kind of have a similar look with all of their gear, so if you have other Matador gear, this will blend in nicely with that. We do have the Matador logo just here on the front. It is kind of hard to see until you're really right on top of it. I mean, I think obviously because this is shot in high resolution, you can probably see that. But when you're just wearing it and like from a distance, if someone sees you, they're not really going to see the logo. And I kind of dig that. Like, I don't mind if people know I'm using Matador gear because they have very nice gear, but it's not really in your face, and I dig that. You do have a stretchy mesh pocket here, and that's a good quality material, no rips, no tears yet, but we'll get into that pocket in just a little bit. We've got YKK zippers here and a nice paracord-like material with a little heat shrunk plastic on the end there. And I dig that this has 2 zippers because I like leaving it on the top like this. So if I'm riding my bike or something like that, I can kind of just open half of it and like access quickly instead of having to find which side of the track it's on and go from there. So typically I like leaving these 2 zippers up here on the top. So what we're calling the harness system on this little pouch is this little pamphlet style trifold in the back here. So that just opens up with a hook and loop fastener, and you can do that looser or tighter depending on what you have inside here. But there are 3 different tracks you can put a strap or whatever you want to put through here. So there's one little track here where you can loop it through like that, or there is another one up top here, and then you could obviously run one vertically like this for like your shoulder strap. And there are these little hard plastic things inside here which keep things kind of on track and stops material from bunching up in here, which I think is a nice inclusion. One thing to note is that if you have like a really thin shoulder strap, like if you had like a Matador packable bag or something like that, you can't get this super, super tight, so it might slide a little bit through here. Like you can see, I'm getting my fingers through there pretty easily. But a lot of times if there's like an adjuster on the shoulder strap, it'll stop it from moving up and down. But even on like really small shoulder straps, sometimes this can overtake that adjuster and slide down kind of far, and you'll have to readjust it. There is some aeration on the back of this, which I like. So if you are wearing it somewhere where it's kind of on your body, it does have that little bit of airflow to keep it cool. And then you also get that protection for whatever you put inside, because this has a pretty ample amount of padding from all of these different layers that are on the back here. So as far as secondary compartments go on this thing, we really just have this stretchy mesh pocket on the outside, which I went over a little bit earlier. We've got this nice stretchy mesh material, and it's very durable. I've really put a lot of different things in here, even keys, and there's not any, I can't see any like where holes have like expanded into other holes or torn at all. It's really done a good job. And right now I just have a big power brick in there and a cable. So if you look, if I were to just put this cable in here, because it's obviously it doesn't have a huge footprint, and kind of go like this with it, it's not coming out, which is pretty cool. So depending on the size of the item, like this kind of expands a little bit to fill the space. If you had like a USB drive or something like that, that's probably going to tumble out of here. But then even if you have something that has a little bit like more height to it, and you go like that, it didn't do it that time, but a lot of times things will catch on the lip. Like you can see there now, it caught on that lip, and it's not, I mean, if I really like threw it upside down, it might come out, but it has enough height to catch on that lip and not come tumbling out, which I think is cool, especially because this does stretch quite a bit, so you can really fit a fair amount of stuff in here. Normally I have like a protein bar or something in there, and then I'll eat it when I get to work in the morning. And I actually made a mistake, and when I got here this morning, I ate the protein bar, and I wanted to have it in here for the video. So I'm sorry for that, but a protein bar does fit in here nicely, and especially if you want to like put something on top of it, that'll absolutely make sure it's not going anywhere. But I haven't had any issues with things coming out of this pocket, like unless you like I showed you and go upside down with it, nothing's coming out of there. So it is a nice addition, and I think it makes this a lot more useful than if there was not a pocket on the front here. So moving into the main compartment here, obviously you just open up those YKK zips, and I dig how far this the zippers come down. They don't come so far down to where like your phone could like flop out. Like other ones I've seen like on Amazon or something like that, sometimes come a little bit further down. And if that was the case, I feel like when you opened it, especially if you're doing something more active, the stuff's gonna come flopping out, and that would obviously not be ideal. So I dig where they have these zippers stopping. But I just have this is my iPhone 11, a standard iPhone 11 with a case. And as you can see, there is a bit of wiggle room there. But I did test this with every phone we have in the office, and we also have some 3D printed devices. So I literally tested pretty much every phone size that I could find, and they all fit inside here, including an iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is almost exactly the same size as the new iPhone 14 Plus, I think it's called. I'm not sure of the exact wording on that. So if you are someone who likes to have larger phones, it will fit inside this Speed Stash. But something that I think is important to note, if you have one of the bigger phones and you do have a bigger case, like my case isn't huge, but it makes it fit about the same as one of the bigger phones fits. So if you have a bigger phone and you have a case, it might be a little tight on the edges, or if you have like a really big case like an OtterBox or something like that, it might not fit inside, or it might be super tight, and that's obviously not ideal. But moving to the inside, there is no organization in here at all. It's literally just a pocket to put things in. And obviously it's a good spot for a phone, but if you see when I put my phone in there, there is quite a bit more room. So you could stack 2 phones in there if you wanted to, if you're like out with a partner or something like that. If you put a granola bar in here and you think you're gonna be a little bit extra hungry, you could put another granola bar in there, your keys, your wallet, whatever you wanna put in there. Not whatever, but within reason. If it normally would fit in your pockets, you're probably going to be able to put it in here. So something that I didn't do this time, but I should have done to showcase that, I typically put my phone in here backwards because there is a little bit of padding. I'm not sure how well you can see that little bit of padding, but it's not very dense. So I don't trust the padding on the front side a whole lot, especially if I'm going for a hike and it might get rugged. But there is a ton of padding on this back side, thanks to the aeration here from on this, and just there's a bunch of layers back here, and then you have the hard plastic too, which adds a little bit of structure. So you have a lot of padding on that side, and I just feel more comfortable with my phone screen facing that way. I mean, I think it's probably fine if you face it outward, but then if you have like your keys in this front pocket and then you have your phone facing forward, I'm just kind of a worrywart like that, so that's kind of why I did that. But overall, very happy with this thing and how it has performed so far, and it kept my phone safe and it kept my phone dry. So at the end of the day, I think that's what it's meant to do. So there you have it, the Matador Speed Stash. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.